Howdy, y'all. So on the next episode of Ricky's Big World, we gonna spill all the tea.
Amazon, for example, or is it Netflix? Amazon, Netflix. To get your stuff on there, I think it's Amazon. You make 8 cents for it's all right. It's either 6 cents or 8 cents. It depends on how it's worked, but for every 1,000 views.
Back in the pizza world caverns, behind the test ovens, and in reality next to the bathrooms, it's Ricky's Big World.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ricky's Big World. So, Roxanna Jana says that from now on she ain't gonna tell me what we're gonna talk about. She's just gonna blurt it out.
That is not what happened.
Then what happened?
I was very politely told that you prefer not knowing what the topic is for the day.
I don't want to know. I just want the casual conversation.
I love that.
If we were sitting in the laundromat, would you sit there and write down everything you want to talk about? No.
Let's keep this organic as possible. I love it.
Organic. Okay. All right. Well, go ahead. So, there's something on your brain earlier. What were you thinking about?
I was asking you the other day, well, a few weeks ago, if you had seen Beetlejuice.
The new one?
The new one.
No, I have not seen it yet.
And it got me thinking, because I've heard you talk about this quite often, but it got me thinking about sequels and remakes.
I'm not a fan of sequels and remakes.
And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about movies you like.
You smell
remakes. It smells like food.
Smell that song. All right, go ahead.
Smell.
Smell like barbecue
It's
chicken.
a SpongeBob thing.
It smells something. All right, what else?
I want to know about some of your favorite movies, maybe movies that have been remade or have sequels, and your feelings about them.
Okay, I you know what? Here's a prime example. The Thing. The one that I saw, and to be honest with you, when I say this is going to blow my whole theory and mentality out the window. The Thing with Kirk Russell from the 1980s.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever saw it.
I have not.
Okay, so it is. The Thing is about, and I'm gonna spoil it if you've never seen it. Okay, just letting you know.
Spoiler alerts ahead if you haven't seen a movie from the 80s already.
Cut it off now.
Cut it off now.
So the 1980, was it 83 when it came out? But anyway, but it's 1980s with Kirk Russell, and they are at a scientific station in the Arctic, I believe, or is it Antarctica? It's someplace cold with snow everywhere, and so this dog is being chased by a helicopter and being shot at, and it's like a husky, and so they save it, and all this stuff happens. Kind of find out the dog is an alien that another scientific team someplace else on Antarctica or wherever discovered, and it shapeshifts into, like, if it came in contact with you, it would shapeshift into you but kill you in the process.
Oh.
And they made this during a time where, CGI wasn't big and everything else. It's all handmade. It is an amazing, love The Thing, because number one, how quiet it is. You've got the big boom 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 music and all that in some parts, but it's not everywhere.
That's kind of nice.
It's really quiet, and then the way they did the special effects with actually making this is just a testament. However, in 2011, I think they remade it, and it's horrible. And I'm angry about it that they remade it, but I can't remember if is that the correct date. Anyway, 2000 something they remade it, and I got all mad about it. I said, I can't believe they did this. Well, guess what? The 1980s version, The Thing, was a remake from one in the 50s.
Oh.
So I watched the one in the 50s, and it was good for the 50s. That one in the 80s was just pure magic.
Right.
The one in 20 whatever, too much CGI, bad acting, just everything. I apologize, but I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
So that kind of blows my theory out the window when I say that I don't believe in remakes. I think that if it's a good movie to begin with, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. Okay, so The Thing is one that I love. There's some others that I have seen that they did a pretty good job with a remake on it, but it just didn't hit.
What's an example?
I think what was the other? Christine. They remade Christine, and I really didn't like that one. They have not, and there's talks out there about doing all right. There's talks about them remaking Goonies.
Oh.
I would lose my mind. I might even have to go to jail on that one because that is sacrilegious right there.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, do you think that they're, like, what movies to you can't touch? And Goonies being
Legend
one of those?
Legend of Billie Jean.
Okay.
With Christian Slater and Helen Slater. Do not remake that one. Goonies, of course, do not remake that one. Leave the Indiana Jones alone. Don't remake that one in the future, okay? Now, I will say this. This last Indiana Jones, in my personal opinion, was horrible.
Yeah.
I didn't like the ending at all. I didn't like the time travel crap. I didn't like none of it.
Doesn't Harrison Ford have, like, a thing written in his contracts, like, that nobody else can play?
I don't know.
Indiana?
That's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that one. I'm pretty sure I heard it.
I'll go back and I'll still rewatch the first one. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade. But those are the only three that I really watched. And then you get to the other ones that are... Now, I understand that those are sequels to the original.
Yeah.
All right, so that's different.
I think sequels count too, though, because, like...
You can't make too many.
It's hard. Yeah.
Sharknado's one.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
But there's too many sequels of Sharknado.
But I know some of the the people in the filmmaking who did those, and even I have said, don't you think it's too many? Not when they making money.
Yeah.
They make money.
That's crazy.
But there's some ones that I wonder if it would be. In fact, Jennifer and I were talking about this the other day about what we were watching, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, how would it be as a...
Today?
It's made today. Would it be any good? And I'm thinking...
Cell phones, cameras, security.
Well, but why bother?
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing. And that's what angers me about these remakes is like there's no imagination in Hollywood. And I blame my generation.
Yeah.
Because if you look at a lot of the directors, they're my age, who grew up in the 80s. And they want to relive that, so they're remaking.
I heard. So Matt Damon was recently on Hot Ones and did an interview there, and they were talking about, or he was giving his opinion on why he thinks Hollywood is the way that it is now, so unoriginal. Mm-hmm. And he was saying that back in the day, they would make money off of the original release of the movie,
right?
And then if it didn't hit what they needed to make a profit, it would be released again on DVD. And it would be like a second check basically coming in that would help make some profits off the movie. And he's just saying that nowadays, like, there was a movie he wanted to do, I guess, and like two people, you know, like a love movie or whatever, if he puts $50 million in it, you have to put another $50 million in to market it, so you're at $100 million. Then you have to split the profits with everybody, and by then you have to make back all these millions that you just know isn't going to happen. So the reason that they're doing this is because what they're saying is there's no way to make money or a profit off of it anymore.
If that's the case, then don't bother making a movie at all.
Well, and I think that's the reason that they continue to go to these brands that are already established. So, like, things like the Goonies, it has a following, so they're hoping to remake something like that and bring people in. You're going to piss off a
lot of people if you do that.
Yeah, and I think it's the same thing with sequels. Like, right now, we're getting a lot of sequels off movies, you know, from years ago.
Well, and there's some
which are nice.
There's some that you can't, you shouldn't do a sequel to, like the Joker.
Yeah.
It did so bad at the box office.
Did, yeah.
And one of the reasons what I've heard is, and my opinion has been this way too, is that how far can you go into Joker's past that you already didn't do to begin with?
Yeah.
And why would you want to do another one? And I think Lady Gaga, I heard she did a great job in the second one, or whichever one it is. But I just feel that it bombed because of the simple fact that we already got the other one that was so wonderful. You can't do it.
Like even with Disney, like they're doing another Toy Story. That's 6. That, you know what and like there's a limit to take the story, I feel like, to an extent.
No, you're right. You're right. Horror movies, they do that too. But now getting
Horror
to
movies, I feel like are a little bit different.
But
like,
getting to what you hold on. Getting
Go
to
ahead.
what you were saying about the whole streaming thing. All right. Here's one of the reasons too. Amazon, for example, or is it Netflix? Amazon, Netflix, to get your stuff on there. I think it's Amazon. You make 8 cents for it's all right. It's either 6 cents or 8 cents. It depends on how it's worked, but for every 1,000 views. So you're not making a lot of money. You have to really, that movie has to push the multi-million mark to be able to make anything. But then you have places like Tubi that's free to watch. Like Intent Unknown. That's on Tubi and Prime, Amazon Prime. And I'm seriously, I need to get in touch with the director because I am so curious about how those two are doing.
Yeah.
You know, and everything else, and what kind of, because the way the contract that I have with that movie is I get back in money, and so I didn't want anything up front. So whatever the movie is, whatever it makes, and after all the bills are paid, then we get that percentage that's left over. And so I like that deal because I ain't got to worry about all this other stuff. And then if it makes real big money, then I'm mad because I didn't get a big chunk to begin with. All right, so, but I get what you're saying about the streaming process, but also at the same time, though, you know, streaming needs to put more money into when it's aired, how many times it's aired, and it's like for example, when you're a SAG actor, I'm a SAG actor, and so every time, let's say for example, Chicago PD plays, I get a check. But it depends on the type of platform. Was it basic cable? Was it subscription service? Was it this? And it depends. And it changes the dollar amount.
So it's different.
It's very different.
That's why it's interesting to talk to you specifically about this, because you've got a toe in that industry.
And I ain't got no feet.
Well, my bad.
I appreciate you bringing that up. Thank you. We want to see.
You got a fingertip. You got a fingertip in that industry.
I got a pinky. There you go. I got a pinky. I also think that's a poor excuse. I mean, it's one reason Matt Damon wants to say that, but at the same time, though, I think it's just a lack of creativity because so many things have been done before. But you ever watch a movie that actually feels like another movie you watched?
Yeah.
Super 8, phenomenal sci-fi movie, but it feels like Goonies.
Yeah.
It feels like Stranger Things put together. Mm-hmm. There was another one. It's out on Disney, and I can't remember the name of it, but it has Star Wars elements, Stranger Things elements, Harry Potter elements. There are so many elements of all these different movies wrapped into one, to where you see blatantly right in your face where they stole all those ideas.
It's just like the saturation.
It's called something Moon. I can't remember. God, I watched the first one. They have a second one, and I didn't want to watch the second one because it's the same damn thing.
What do you think about like the movies versus the series? Do you prefer if it were a movie to come out on
TV
streaming?
series?
Yeah, or like a
movie
streaming series. Because a lot of people are doing that now too. Like HBO just came out with Penguin.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's really good.
I like TV series. Depends on what it is. Like the new TV series Matlock that has Kathy Bates.
Yeah, that's totally.
It is great.
It's a nice revision of.
But
the
it's
original.
not. That's where they were so intelligent about Matlock. Is she just? I don't want. Never mind. I don't want to give it away.
Spoil it.
I don't want to spoil it. It has.
But it's so much better. is what you're
The
saying.
entire TV show has nothing to do with the original Matlock TV show. Nothing. However, they throw in some elements of the original Matlock to make you think that is. But it has nothing to do with it. It is a wonderful TV show we're watching.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like the shows that are coming out as sequels or spin-offs. Like I know they did that with Big Bang Theory. They had Young Sheldon, and now they have Georgie's.
I think they got to be, but they got to be careful.
Yeah.
Because some things may work, may not work. Like, well, let's go back a little bit. Let's say Golden Girls. They had Golden Girls and they did a spinoff called Golden Palace.
I did not know that they had a spin-off. I love
They
Golden
did,
Girls,
and it didn't
but-
do as well
Really?
because they were living in a hotel
Oh.
type thing situation, and so it didn't work as well.
Kind of like, because I know I Love Lucy kind of had that as well with, will you eat
I
pineapple?
love pineapple. Yeah, I love pineapple.
I love that he asked, like, is pineapple on pizza okay? Because it is very controversial.
I didn't say I like it on pizza. I just said I love pineapple.
He also loves pickles on pizza, so.
I was like, bro, everybody's just upset about it.
He also likes pickles on pizza.
That pickle pizza, man, that's a bomb right there. Now you need to get some fried chicken pizza. I eat that too. What were we talking about?
I was saying, I know that they also did that with I Love Lucy.
For who?
With I Love Lucy. It had
I Love Lucy,
a
yeah.
spin-off later.
Gilmore Girls.
Oh.
Did you ever watch that?
So no, but I know about Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls is one that it took me a while to get into with Jennifer and Jacqueline, my daughter. And when I finally did, I had been GG'd, which is, I had been indoctrinated into the Gilmore Girl world.
Yeah.
I can be in the kitchen and hear a scene and know exactly what scene it is now because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
We have literally watched that entire series 15, 25 times
That's crazy.
because it has become a warm, safe thing.
That's how we are
Okay?
with I Love Lucy. My kids
I
love
love
it.
it.
And Brady Bunch, for some reason, my kids love the Brady Bunch.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Gilmore Girls, they did a Gilmore Girls and the life. It's supposed to be like a year later or some years later, and they brought them all back. The magic wasn't there anymore,
Yeah.
and so it failed. I mean, and I didn't even like it. I didn't like the storyline. I didn't like anything else. So I think that people have to be careful because they're like, oh, this was so good the first time. Let's redo the magic, do it again. Sometimes it doesn't work.
They're doing that with Cruel Intentions. They're making it a series.
Taking a movie that's great and turning it into a TV series, I think you just have to be really careful how you do it. Because if you try to make it too much like the movie, like, all right, for example, Star Wars. I'm so sick of all these remakes and all these additions to Star Wars family. We had the first three, leave it alone. Okay? We had the one from 1977, the other one, and then the other one. Return of the Jedi.
I'm one of
this.
those few. I really liked the ones that they did like in the 90s, 2000s.
Nope.
Like I was
Anyway,
totally a fan.
I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Anyway, so the reason why I like the first three is the ones that have heavy use of CGI. However, if you go to Disney Plus now, see you later, brother.
Bye, Grumpy Bob.
If you go to Disney Plus now and you want to watch the original three, they're not the original three anymore because George Lucas wanted CGI in it in the originals, but it wasn't invented the way it is now.
Oh, that's so interesting because the only place I've seen the original three is on Disney Plus. So
Yeah.
I'm not watching the original.
So you're not watching the original because when you get in there,
I need
you
to
will
go get a VHS.
I have them. I found them.
Do you in the movie?
I have, yes.
I need to do that.
In fact, in the original case box and everything. All right. So anyway, so when you watch the original Star Wars, the first three, you will see that. No, let me go back. When you watch the remastered original three, you'll see kind of shoddy animals in the background and some things like that. In fact, in one of them, you'll actually see Jabba the Hutt in the hangar talking with Han Solo. And it is so horribly done that even George Lucas said he regretted ever doing it. So, but Disney Plus doesn't show and air the original three before the CGI.
That's so interesting.
And
that's the one thing about streaming services you have to be careful with, because you don't know if you're getting like the original.
Well, what's another? Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island from the 70s, 80s. I used to love watching. Ricardo Montalban. And then they redid it. And they redid it in a way to where it was like Ricardo Montalban's granddaughter became the host of the island. And I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with it's terrible. It's just terrible. So even a TV series can be just made
what do you
like
think
crap
about like big blockbuster, like the biggest blockbuster? So I think of like Titanic. I feel like they could probably never remake Titanic. Like that's such, but like Avatar.
And I've only watched
hand,
Titanic once.
They're now having these series come out. What do you feel? Have you seen those?
I watched Avatar, the first one. I can't remember if I watched the second one or not.
Second one's Way of Water. They're like in.
No, I didn't have a watch that. But I think what happens is when you have a blockbuster like that, like Alien's another one. But when you have a blockbuster like Avatar, huge blockbuster, I saw it, I loved it. I get why they want to go back and say, hey, we can make more money off of this and do that. But is it something that's worth it? Because now it's like, okay, they're making all these other things, Avatar, and you already know what to expect.
Yeah.
You already know what to expect. Alien was one that, and if you ever watch it's on Netflix, they got a show called The Movies That Made Us.
Okay.
Or the toys that made us.
Yeah.
So they explore toys from the 80s and 60s.
I do remember seeing that.
So they have the movies that made us, and each episode is dedicated to a different movie, like Die Hard and some things like that. Mm-hmm. Well, the one I love is Aliens, because it showed how they made Aliens, and they discussed how they didn't want to call it Alien 2. It's called Aliens, because it's not the same thing. But as they were smart, they continued the story from where Ripley went into cryostasis, and then 50-something years later, she's woken up in a whole different world, but yet everything still seems familiar. It's just now things are a little bit on the different side. And then you keep going. Now, it's to a point where you start to get into Prometheus, which actually has something to do with the Aliens movie franchise. But again, the first one, Aliens, the best one. Aliens is the best sequel to that. And then after that, I think it's all junk.
I think they did, and this, I don't know who's listening and might think this is controversial, but like we started this conversation talking about Beetlejuice, and then they came out with Beetlejuice, which I thought was so creative for the name, not to call it Beetlejuice 2 instead of just calling it Beetlejuice,
mm-hmm.
which was a play on the character and things like that. But like I thought they did a really good job with that.
You did watch it?
I did watch it. I don't know though how I'd feel if they came out with a third one, although I think it'd be awesome to have the name play like that. I feel like at a third it'd have to be done really right.
Okay, yeah. All right, so the second one that's out now,
mm-hmm.
that's about, what exactly is that one about?
That one's
because
about,
does it still have Christina Ricci in it?
It does. It has, it's not Christina.
It's not Christina?
No.
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder, yeah.
From Stranger Things.
Well, she's not from Stranger Things, but yeah.
No, wasn't Winona Ryder
She's in Stranger Things? Yeah, but she also did like Edward Scissorhands. And,
well, of course, that I'm just talking about.
It's random that you'd pick that
because I love her in Stranger Things.
She's
great.
Really good. Yeah. No, she is in there.
Can't talk about what I want to talk about, but that's all right. I forgot. It's called Roxanna's Big World. But go ahead.
No, she is in there with all the original people minus one because.
Yeah, I heard about him.
Yeah, although his likeness is in there. But yeah, everybody's in there. But it mostly follows a plot line with her daughter.
Okay, and that seems to be an area where...
Although she is very involved in the plot line herself.
This lady interrupted me one more time. I'm trying to sit here and have fun. I thought I'm not that smart, Roxanna.
I'm just my ADHD. I'm slow. I
understand, but you gotta understand though, it takes a lot of energy to form a thought. Okay, for me, and you know what? And so when you start over talking to me, I forget. No, I think that's an easy. It's a little too easy to do. Okay, well we'll do this from their kids' point of view, and everything else, which is cool. I get it. I do want to see it though, but I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'd be interested in you seeing it and hearing your thoughts about it.
Well, so get this, family. So Roxanna Janet told me, she said, before you come up here again, go watch the Beetlejuice movie, and so we can talk about it. And I forgot all about it because you know what? I have a life, and I wasn't able to do it.
Well, it was for this topic specifically. Like you'd been talking about remakes and things on your social media, and then I saw Beetlejuice come out, and I ended up seeing it and having my own thoughts about a remake and wanted to know yours.
Well, I have a friend of mine who was in Tremors. And did you ever see that?
No.
It's the one about the big old sandworms that come out of the ground.
No.
And all right. So she was in, I think she was in the original one, or was it the second one? Anyway, Erin O'Brien. And we were talking about that movie one day. And she said, I think they make too many. Is that because you're not in the others? Is that what? But there are some movies out there that A, don't need to be remade. B, there's no need for a sequel. Like Goonies. They're talking about Goonies doing that with them as adults now. Nobody cares. Because here's my thing. What are we gonna tell people about Goonies? That Chunk is now an attorney, which he really is, and he dropped like 150 pounds where he's real thin, slender now. Is that what we're going to talk about? Are we going to talk about how, what's his name? The creature in it. I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Anyway, we're going to talk about how he didn't get to go live with Chunk and his family because he had to be put into an institution because of all this stuff. Do we really want to hear about all that?
Yeah.
No. I want to end the story with a happy moment. They found the jewels. Chunk's going. Sloth is going to go live with Chunk. If you ain't seen Goonies by now, that's your fault. And so I don't want to hear about how they grew up and all this other stuff and who got this and this, who working in the insurance industry and who's homeless. I don't want to hear about that. So leave Goonies alone.
What about Twister?
Twister, that was dumb for them to redo what they did. The first one was fine.
Did you not like the second one?
I didn't watch it because I watched enough of, and this is another topic I'll talk about, but I watched enough of the trailer that I feel like I watched the whole damn movie.
Yeah, I was just talking to Nick about that the other day, and I was like, trailers are so long. Like, we were going to watch a movie, and he's like, let's watch the trailer first, see if we like it. Watch the trailer, and I go, well, I feel like I saw the whole movie, so let's watch something else.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And movie people out there, shorten the trailer. Okay,
they're really long. They're like
short.
3-4 minutes.
Nobody needs to know the whole thing. What happened? Who did this? There's one movie, I forgot which one it was. I remember watching the trailer, and in the trailer they revealed who the bad guy was.
No, they didn't.
In the trailer, and it's like there's no reason to watch it now. I already know who did it.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
But it's like with Harry Potter, though. You get Harry Potter is a huge success. We read the books to our daughter. We went and watched every movie at the theater, every one of them. All right. but it's a progression that works.
I feel like that's different though. Like a book series.
But a lot of movies are book series.
Like Twilight was like that, or Hunger Games
no,
was
don't
like
give me
that.
on Twilight. I wrote, in fact, I posted on Facebook. I wrote an editorial about. I went and saw Twilight New Moon.
Yeah.
And I wrote an editorial about it. And I cannot stand Twilight. That is, who writes a vampire story where they ain't got no teeth?
Well, it's the same thing with like Hunger Games. Like they're coming out with prequel stuff for Hunger Games now.
I like the first Hunger Games, but I mean, I was done with it after that.
Like if you're gonna have multiple movies, it makes more sense for like a book series like Harry Potter and things like that versus you just came up with a story and now you're adding on sequels because you want.
Here's a great movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Disclosure. It has Michael Douglas, Demi Moore, and who else is in it? Oh, Donald Sutherland's in it too. And it's based in Seattle. It was made in the 90s. It is a great movie. There was no sequel on that one because it ended great. It started out great, and the middle was fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you ever get to see it, it's called Disclosure. And again, with Michael Douglas, Demi Moore, Donald Sutherland. And it is a phenomenal movie, but I can never see that one being made into a sequel or a remake either. And but somebody's going to go out there doing it.
It's interesting too, like when you're getting auditions for films and things like that, they're more original works, right? You're not seeing. Is it nice to see more original works that you audition for versus these sequels?
No, not necessarily. There's some that they're trying to redo something, and I've actually turned them down
because of it.
Because of that, I auditioned for one. And it was a remake for Porky's. And I auditioned for it because I didn't think I would ever get the role.
Yeah. And
I got the role. And I said, seriously? He said, oh, yeah. And they sent me the script, and I went and looked up the translated script or the transcript for the original one verbatim. They're not changing anything. They just decided we're going to re-film it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And so I turned it down and said, I'm not going to do that. Still Magnolias is another one. They did Still Magnolias, which originally was phenomenal. Dolly Parton and everybody else was in there. It was just great. Shirley MacLaine was in it. Sally Fields. I mean, it's just Olivia Dukakis. So many amazing people in it. And then they did a remake verbatim with a whole different female cast, and it wasn't as good because if you're going to redo something, change it. Like Ghostbusters, when they had the all-female cast,
yeah,
that was amazing because it had a whole different twist to it. It wasn't the same thing. Ghostbusters 1 was the best one. Ghostbusters 2, but it was different. They had this one with the all-female cast. But again, it wasn't them trying to be Ghostbusters like the original. It was something different. And I respect that. That was actually good and funny as hell. That was great.
Yeah, because the series they're going off of now is his granddaughter.
That was good. In fact, one of the guy who plays the brother in that is also on Stranger Things.
Yeah, he is.
And so, and let's talk about Stranger Things. That's a great TV show. I binge watched the mess out of that. In fact, I had an audition for the new one, and I ain't hear back from them. I guess they didn't want fat amputee, So anyway, but please, there's just some shows that should be left alone. Please don't touch them. Casablanca has been tried to be remade constantly, and no one can redo that magic.
Yeah,
no,
it's a great movie.
They tried it in the 80s with a TV series.
Oh, they did?
Yes. Look that up. And it's just
I always think of like Wizard of Oz. Like I know they're coming out with Wicked, which is not the same thing.
No. The Wiz was great.
But Wizard of Oz is like always a very interesting one to me.
But if you take a different take on it, like with Wicked, we went and saw the Broadway off Broadway when they were in Des Moines of Wicked.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I've seen that show 7 times.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I love
But
that.
it's a different take, right? It's a different take. That's fine. If
Well,
you
it's completely. It's also different from the book. I don't know if people have read Wicked the book. It is not the same as Wicked the musical, and it is also not the same as Wizard of Oz.
I've never read the book
Yeah,
because I if it's any good, it'll be a movie anyway.
it's definitely an adult book.
Oh, okay. So, well, Alice in Wonderland's different too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did read that. So, but when it comes to Wizard of Oz, if you went out there and tried to make Wizard of Oz verbatim, it would never work.
Oh yeah.
The Wiz had so much creativity
Yeah.
with it, and it was culturally
It was
different. Phenomenal. The Wicked, getting that story of the Wicked Witch of the West, phenomenal. So I think that's great. It's like Bewitched, TV series they made into that movie.
Bewitched.
The movie was horrible. I hated the movie, but I liked the
It did
actors.
the actors were. I thought the actors fit those roles very well, but it did lack the magic that the TV series had.
Will Ferrell was good.
Nicole Kidman,
phenomenal. In fact, she was great in it and all that. But and Michael Caine's great. But
Yeah.
again, it just the whole let's do a show about a show and this no. I didn't like it. So I'll stick with the original.
Fair.
Thank you very much.
We'll have to see how you feel about. We'll check in and see how you feel about Beetlejuice and Wicked once it comes out.
Ooh, is it hot?
It's very hot. It just came out. The street's not on.
All
I
right.
think it's time for us to go while we eat.
Yeah. Thank you. It's another edition of Ricky's Big World. We'll leave the light on and the front porch on and the door unlocked, but we're about to eat some pizza that you can't have. Goodbye. Till next time.
That you can't have. What's on
I'm
there?
serious. What's on it?
It's the Bob Marley extra crispy.
Bob Marley.
Bob
extra
Marley
crispy.
extra crispy. Bob Marley extra crispy.
There's barbecue, pepperoni, pineapple, jalapeno.
One
Sweet,
night.
salty, spicy, and savory.
And it is on the
One
secret
night.
menu.
Let's
Sure.
get
He says sure.
together and be all right. There it is. All right. You ready?
I'm ready. Bye.
Oh, yeah, bye.